Welcome to Austin, California. This is our first episode of our exciting new podcast. I'm Jason Herbert, your local modern originator here at CMG Home Loans, and I have Nicole Feliciano with me from Priority Title and Settlement. And we're super excited to bring you this podcast. It's all about relocating to Austin, all the fun and exciting things that Austin has to offer. And Nicole, tell me a little about yourself.
So we decided to make this podcast because we are two Austin transplants. You are from San Diego, correct?
Yes, been out here for 4.5 years now, and loving every bit of it.
I am from Humacao, Puerto Rico, and I've been here now 10 years, going on September. And we always sit and chat and always talk shop about like Austin and what brought us here and all that jazz. But we've never really seen like a podcast on it. And we wanted to make a little bit about like the Austin culture or the Texas culture, to be quite honest, and what attracts people to move here and all that stuff. But we're going to talk about topics of everything from like living, mental health, relationships. I mean, you name it, we're going to talk about it. Contract work, the economy, everything that's going on, JIT. So we were just tired of just seeing all the doom and gloom podcasts or all the ones that are just talking about finances and things like that. And we wanted to make this a little bit more personable. And that's how we kind of came about.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to explore some of the entertainment scene here because Austin is known for having some. I don't know. You have South by Southwest, ACL, which are these big, giant national events that people come in for. And then we're going to also find some little hole in the wall places, that local eateries, as the food scene here is starting to improve, thankfully. I definitely miss my, don't hate me here for this, but I miss my
sushi.
No, my Mexican food from San Diego.
Oh,
so sorry, I'm not the hugest Tex-Mex fan, but we are definitely starting to get a better food scene here, especially locally here in the North Austin area.
Well, speak for your food, because I have yet to find a good Puerto Rican restaurant. So let's just leave it at that. I have to cook my own stuff. Not fair.
But yeah, that is part of this podcast. We're going to bring in local restaurateurs. We're going to bring in people that know the food scene. Barbecue is obviously a huge thing here in Austin and Texas. So we have a local expert who knows all about the barbecue scene who's going to be coming in. We're going to be also talking about just the local communities, talking about the different amenities that these communities feature and why that might be an attractive place for you to, these communities may be a place that interests you and meet your needs as a new homeowner or person transplanting here to Austin.
Yeah, we're also going to be talking about, like I had mentioned, mental health, art, entertainment, as Jason had mentioned as well, right? We're going to bring in also local boutique owners, them talk about their craft and their, product and what they offer. I mean, we might even do a tattoo episode where we go to a tattoo parlor and actually get tattooed and talk. We're also going to bring realtors that specialize in different niches and things like that. So like land, ranches, flips, investors. We're going to bring in just a bit of everything. Jason, like he had mentioned, he's with CMG Home Loans. I'm with Priority Settlement Group of Texas. So we kind of have like a bird's eye view of the market within the interior core aspect of it and what it like kind of contains. So we just want to externalize ourselves from that and just like bring you the Austin culture and bring that little bit of, I guess, salsa and guac into it. You know what I'm saying? So Jason, say a little bit about yourself. You already said that you're from San Diego.
Yeah, so I'm a 20 years in the mortgage industry. Originally pretty much born and raised in San Diego, California. We relocated out here, my wife and 2 kids, because we were looking for an opportunity just to really grow some roots, have more of a family atmosphere, less hustle and bustle, not spend as much of our lives in traffic like we were in San Diego. Not that we're starting to find that traffic here now, but we've definitely enjoyed it so far. We love all the different family activities that this town really has to offer. And that was sort of like, we just wanted to give our kids a bigger opportunity at life. And so that's sort of why we took the jump out here. How about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm going to be the funny one in the group. I came here for a man. Yeah. No, I did not come here for a man. I was actually, my ex-husband is a musician, and this is the live music capital of the world. And I was at the time doing my thesis in the University of Puerto Rico. So shout out to them. But we were on strike and I couldn't even defend my thesis. So I was stuck in a rock and a hard place, whether it was best for us to relocate to give him a good opportunity in music, as well as for me to find a university that I can transfer to continue my graduate degree. And so I just so happened to get accepted into UT. After I had come here to visit him, he was on tour here for South by Southwest. And I remember saying back at home in Puerto Rico, I'm like, I am not moving to Texas. Like, that is not happening. Like, I was like, dude, that is not happening. I'm willing to sing all my exes live in Texas at this point, right? And I was engaged for this time. And he's like, hey, come here, check it out. You're going to like it. It's not what you think. So I came here for South by Southwest because he was performing. And also I wanted to see him. And fell in love with it. I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. And we were both islanders. Like, he had lived his entire life in Puerto Rico. I had lived the majority of my life in Puerto Rico. So coming here was like a big of a cultural shock for me. He had already adapted to it pretty quick. And I just stuck here. And then after a while, after everything, I made friends and have a great community and just stuck around. So now I'm here. So that's basically it on my end. And I don't know what else. Like sports, we're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about today's first topic is going to be very interesting. I don't know if you know much about it. I probably know a little bit more about it. I get made fun of. I had a conversation with Travis Smith. I'm giving you a shout out, Travis Smith, yesterday. He knows me as Nicole, the microeconomist. Please don't know me as that. I'm not good at economics. Was forced to take a class for it in college to graduate. Okay. I like to read and research. So we might talk a little bit about everything. And with that being said, who's your football team?
Football team, college. I mean, you gotta root for the Longhorns. Now that we're here, you gotta support the Longhorns. It's like such a community here, and the passion that people have for the Longhorns
definitely.
here is awesome.
Don't
get me wrong, I still root for the SDSU Aztecs, who I gotta say, the Final Four this weekend, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, I mean, that's like I sort of grew up with them as my college hometown team, so I still got to keep a little bit of faith for them. But yeah, and then football wise, sorry guys, not a Cowboys fan. You guys keep you can I'll just leave it at that and put it nicely. So
you don't have a football team for pro football?
I still try to follow the Chargers, but they're not from San Diego anymore. That's a whole separate issues. But yeah, I mean, the Texans are trying to rebuild, so who knows if they'll ever put a decent team together again. So, but yeah, that's sort of what I just enjoy watching football, so it doesn't matter who's playing at this point.
Okay, cool.
But I'm not cheering on the Cowboys. Sorry, guys.
So this is going to be even worse, and we're probably going to lose subscribers already off the bat. Here we go. So I am a Longhorns UT fan for college football. I was a Clemson fan, but it was because of Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, I had a big crush on him. So you can say whatever you want. It is what it is. Draft day, I was there just being like, yeah, I guess I'm a Jaguars fan now, but I'm not. The Cowboy fans are going to hate me on here. So I am both a Giants fan and a Bills fan.
Oh, geez.
so Cowboys are going to literally hate me. But yeah, more of a Giants fan. So go Big Blue and whatnot. And then when it comes to baseball, also going to hate me. I am a Yankees. I know, right? Yeah. I'm assuming you're the Padres, right?
Yeah, I'm still a Padres fan. Like, that's my hometown. I still got to represent my hometown. They finally spent more money in the last few years than they probably did the last 30 years before that. Now they have a solid, respectable roster that rivals anybody, and see if they can actually put it together this season. That'd be fun.
Well, funny thing is like keeping it on timeline. So, yesterday was opening day.
Yeah.
And the Astros and the White Sox played, and it was like a close game. It was to the point that the Astros at one point had 10 on base, but let me correct myself. The White Sox had 10 on base, but weren't scoring, and they were like both like tapping each other out as they go. And then it pulled ahead that the White Sox unfortunately won. So sorry, Astros. Again, I already feel like people are just going to unsubscribe and be like, this woman is a Giants fan. She just said sorry to the Astros. The only thing she's got going for her is maybe her personality that I say is like a wet mop with a little bit of fabuloso, and the fact that she likes UT. That's the only thing I got going for me right now.
Well, there is no professional teams here in Austin, and that's one thing that we're going to talk about. There is one professional team, the Austin FC. That is the first professional team. So Austin's a very growing new thriving city, and it's changed dramatically just in the 4.5 years that I've been here. So sports is obviously, there's a lot of conflict with them, just such a mixture of people moving from out of state to this town. So obviously the sports scene is going to be very collective on rooting with different fans and things like that. Um, but yeah, Austin FC, definitely you walk around town, you see green everywhere,
And
even
go
not when
Ahead.
this, yeah, not
Yeah.
even when the season isn't going on, it's still a talk here. And I haven't been to a game yet. That's my goal this year, is to take my son to a game so he can actually see what a professional game looks like. Now, since he does play soccer a little bit, and yeah, so
Yeah,
have
isn't
you been
your
to a
son?
game yet?
Yeah, I have been to a game. A good
Nice,
friend of mine, Brandon Kronk. We got Kronk up in a Austin FC game, and it was probably like the best thing
nice.
ever. Like, but I'm really big on how the fans react. Which is why I like hockey so much too.
Oh,
So the Texas Stars I like better than the Dallas Stars, and they actually farm out of Cedar Park, so I try to go to the games all the time, and I love the hockey culture as
yeah.
well. I think it's pretty
Got it.
dope.
My son loves going to the games. It's such good energy. There's actually like good crowds there. And the team actually this year is actually doing a lot better than it has last year. But yeah, the my son loves going to the games, and they have such an amazing value for families on the weekends. They do like a 4-pack for $100. You get hot dogs and drinks, and you get 4 seats. You can't beat that for a family for four to go see a live hockey game. I mean,
Yeah, no,
that's
definitely.
cheaper than dinner half the time
Oh
nowadays.
yeah, no, we were the three of us, I think I only spent like maybe $30, if that. And that was
Yeah,
with food, drinks, and like our tickets, and that was it, like for the
yeah,
three of us. So that was pretty dope. And that was recently. And then you said, isn't your son like a ninja?
yeah. So my
So I think that's
son,
super dope.
my son is actually competing in a national competition here in Austin at Austin Ninjas on this Saturday, the 1st of April. Not a joke. He is doing ninja obstacle course racing. So if you see American Ninja Warrior, that's what my 8-year-old son is doing. It's crazy. It's inspiring to me to see what he does. I mean, he flies around honestly like a monkey does at the zoo. I and It's a very growing sport, and he's having a lot of fun with it. I'm having fun watching him and cheering him on, and yeah, so it's exciting. The gym here in Austin is actually probably one of the nicest, and probably not biggest, but definitely one of the nicest and probably most technical gyms in the nation. And so it's actually it's exciting to see what's coming in here this weekend with a big national event. It's the first time they get to hold something on such a large scale. So yeah.
That's dope. So I actually put my son, who's only 21 months, by the way, in soccer.
Oh,
And it is, I mind you, I only did it out of pure entertainment for myself. I like, what am I going to expect? A 21-month-old and a few 2-year olds? What are they going to do? It's hilarious. I've never seen more handball in my life than what it is soccer. It is hilarious. But I absolutely love seeing him do it. I cannot wait. My aspiration is to be a sports mom, particularly a baseball mom. I'm Puerto Rican. I have to keep it in the culture. So I cannot wait for him to be in baseball. Like I even
uh,
have his walk-up song ready to go.
you are in store because sports out here, especially in the youth, are ultra
Oh
competitive.
yeah.
T-ball. We moved out here. My son had just started T-ball. They draft their T-ball teams. Like you try out at T-ball and they draft you based on your skill level to a good league or a bad league, like based on, like it's T-ball. Like everybody's just learning to swing and throw. Oh no, it is competitive, insanely amount of competitiveness here. And I ain't gonna lie, I was that parent that yelling at the ump and T-ball. So I've learned to step back a little bit on that type of stuff because yeah, I got way too competitive with T-ball. But yeah, the sports here start them young because it is
Oh yeah.
competitive, and yeah, you're in for a treat because
Oh no.
you'll have plenty of opportunities to get there yelling.
What's funny is that I didn't know T-ball was a thing until I moved here, and my ex with his son joined a T-ball league, right? And T-ball is not a thing back in Puerto Rico. I think this hints why we're so good. You go into coaches pitch like at the age of like 4/5, and they call it diaper leagues. And we're talking about the coaches are throwing these balls, and at one point they just let them run the bases, but it's just so they can start understanding the concept, right? And they even have a catcher. So I remember my brothers, because my mother actually managed and owned the baseball team that my brothers were. My brothers are younger, they're 10 years younger than me. My mother forced me to be the condition coach for them. So they're warm up and condition coach. Because it's like a whole thing in my family, like straight up. And my middle brother, Sergio, really wanted to be a baseball player. He does not do it, but both of my brothers did, and they were phenomenal players. They both played in college. Great,
Okay.
great. Oh yeah, he played in South Carolina University, so University of South Carolina. So yeah, he did pretty good. He was a shortstop, and I think left field as well. Sergio, do not kill me if you see this and I said the information incorrectly. But so seeing T-ball here, it was like, what the heck is that? Like, it's not a thing. Again, back in home in Puerto Rico. So I'm dying to see what my son's going to do in T-ball or just like in just general. Um, I'm so excited for it. Like you have, like, I'm just like ready. Like I said, I already have his walk-up song and everything. If anybody asks me, his walk-up song is going to be Big Gangster by Kevin Gates. Could just imagine him walking to that already. And that or a rock song, if the people that do see here know that I'm a big metalhead. So yeah, and then I'm excited. I'm excited for sports. I'm excited for entertainment that they have here. Now kind of like getting into a serious note, it's not a doom and gloom, but you did see, or I actually was one that told you that Saudi Arabia backed out of using the US as their standard of trading.
Correct. I did hear about this. Yes.
Yes, you did hear about it. Yes. So I got so many phone calls yesterday from other loan officers and realtors, and we actually made a group phone call, and I had to like literally give an economics 101 class to some of these people because they didn't know how currency works in the United States or how our currency was done. And so I actually put a Facebook video out there because I had done a TikTok, but not a lot of people had me on TikTok. So I was like, you know what, let me put it on Facebook and take a risk. I actually got a pretty good response, so I'm just going to throw it out here. So, question, do you know when the US dollar was created?
No.
Okay.
Let's be honest. Like Americans, we're very naive to outside the
Okay.
world stuff, and like let's just we're
So, and that's fine, right? Back at home, you have to understand that I had to take US history, history of Puerto Rico, and European history because we were under the Spanish conquest for so long. So you had to know like all of this.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, world history. So in 1771, the US dollar was created.
Okay, makes sense.
And you know what the gold standard is?
Yes.
Okay, so the gold standard is that the US dollar was created. The gold standard was backing the US dollar. So whatever you had in the dollar represented what you had in gold in volts. So in the 1930s, Roosevelt took all, like basically seized the majority of our gold and silver and all that stuff and put it in volts and made a larger representation of it. 1944, you know that we became the world standard in trading.
Okay.
So everybody was using us for trading at one point because we were a safe currency and whatnot. Go all the way to 1971 when Nixon comes into office. You know what happened there because I know you know because you had told me on the phone. You're like, yeah, we got out of being the gold standard and went into the fiat.
Yeah.
People don't know what the fiat is. People, you got to know these things. Okay, the fiat is the government controls what the amount is that the dollar is going to represent. Government and the banks, which is why we've been printing money like crazy. And I keep on, it's my running joke and it's going to be my tagline that besides do you feel bonita? Because I think that's hilarious on TikTok is we've been printing money we don't have. And we've been printing money because we have the ability to do it. We're still, as of today, I checked, we're still the richest country in the world though. So amen to that. But Saudi Arabia is also one of the richest countries in the world. It's not in the top 10, but it's still one that has a lot of commodity. It still has a lot of gold, silver, and oil. So yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. So fun fact, it's plugged in there because we said that we were going to put at least one fun fact about something or about the market and all that stuff. So Saudi Arabia backing out of using us. I don't know how that's going to affect us. We don't even know how that's going to affect rates for you or anything like that. Banks have been haywire for the past 2 weeks, but rates have been non-volatile, right?
They've been less volatile this month than they have the last 2 months. I'll say that much. So we're seeing hopefully a more stabilization of interest rates to where we'll see more, less volatility and just overall more of a normal market per se in the rate environment. Where we're still always going to have peaks and valleys and things like that, but not where we're jumping up 1% in rate in a week, next week dropping 0.5%. I mean, it's just creating turmoil for everybody and unnecessary stress for everybody in this industry. Because yeah, it's the market is just definitely been a lot more volatile this last.
What would be your like suggestion to loan officers that are not as seasoned as you, one, and two, for buyers?
One, if you're looking to buy a home, find the home that you see long term, that you truly, it's because I mean, let's be honest, nobody knows exactly where the market is going to be in 6 months, a year, 5 years. Obviously, real estate is one of your most safest investments. So think for it long term. You find a house that you want and love, buy it. Who cares what you pay for it at that given moment? Because rates are projected to drop here in the next, who knows, 6 weeks, 6 months, 12, 24 months. We don't know, but we do expect rates to come down. So there is that notion is get the house that you want and love, and then get hopefully a lower interest rate here in the near future. And I mean, the market, I think here in Austin, you're going to see it. There's still a high demand for property. There's more inventory than we've had the last couple of years because we were literally down to less than a half a month of inventory, which is not a healthy.
At what point? I think we were down to 2 weeks. Now we're at 2.5 months.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're approaching a more normal market. I think we're going to see we're going to start seeing appreciation again here in the next 12 months, just because there's still a high buyer demand. There's a lot of job opportunities here. People are relocating here. That's why we're out here talking about relocating to Austin. And this is such a good family focused area. It's a great area to raise your family. So therefore you're going to see people wanting to move here also for their jobs, family, everything. So there's just the demand to live here is still high. It's not like a small little town in the middle of, I don't know, where, anywhere, that just doesn't, that sort of had a flash in the pan. This is not Austin. It's one of the fastest growing cities the last decade. Jobs have come here. There's just such a desire to be in this place. So I think the market, we've had a small correction because we went up so fast, but I think we're seeing the flattening of that depreciation. And now we're going to start seeing a more normal, natural 3-5% appreciation as time goes on. So you find the house that you love, buy it. I know that's our plan to do here, as we've bought and sold homes the last few years. So
you say lock and shop?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great opportunity. Yeah, if you are still looking for a house and haven't found it yet, you have the ability to lock in your interest rate for up to like 90 days, basically, and while you're looking for a home. So you can use that advantage to take some of the volatility out of the market. If rates do drop during that time, once you enter a contract on the property, you have the advantage of taking that lower interest rate also. So it's a sort of a safe haven that a lot of people are utilizing. It's a great program out there. And yeah, take advantage of it as rates. Hopefully you can initially lock in on one of these little dips. And if rates go down even further, then you're even better off.
So I've gotten a few people asking me about different programs. A lot of people ask me about everybody's lender programs, because with me being in title, I know a little bit about everybody and everything, right? I know you joke around. You're like, Nicole, you know way more than a little bit. You're just being a little bit humble. But you guys, besides the lock and shop, you have the buy before you sell as well, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Just say yes.
Yes, we have that program. There's definitely some quirks with it that would take way too long to go in on this video. But yeah, you can actually market your property to
just to like move it along. Also, a cool thing in the title aspect world, we are not up and down and volatile in that sense. We have the same cost. I was going to say cost. All of a sudden I was going to have my New York accent. You can totally keep that. I'm totally fine with that. But you can, like I said, you can do refis for $0. You're doing a refi with us right now. So high five on that. Woo! Buyers and seller side is both $3.99 and no junk fees. And mobile notary is included with every transaction. And we are bilingual. So, and if you don't believe me, because a lot of people for some reason don't believe me, because I don't have an accent, español es mi primer idioma. Ok, cogerlo suave. Nosotros tenemos un equipo bilingüe, se lo aprecia mucho. Y nada, si necesitan ayuda, se pueden comunicar con nosotros. So
No clue what you
no
just said.
clue. He has no, he calls me if he has anything in Spanish. He knows that already.
We have a great associate that speaks Spanish, so if you need somebody that's Spanish speaking loan officer, highly have a great, amazing referral for you.
Yes, she's amazing. She's phenomenal. She knows who she is. Winking at you because you know who you are, girl. But yeah, no, totally. I think, like I said, this is going to be like a really good experience for us. I think this is going to be a really good experience for y'all, and you're just going to get a little bit of everything. And that's what we want. We just
Yeah.
wanted to break that monotony of like, oh, let's talk about rates, let's talk about finances, let's talk about mortgage. Let's talk about like what area, like honestly, we're going to bring people in from different areas. So we're going to bring people in from that specialize in Leander, Cedar Park, specialize in Central Austin, South Austin, Buda, Kyle. We're going to bring in people that are in all these areas, not just realtors, but actual locals of like shops. Like he had mentioned barbecue. We're thinking about bringing beauty as well. So a lot of med spas and things like that. Your wife had mentioned one today. Even bridal shops. Yeah. A few bridal shops we might bring in. Like I also mentioned tattoo shops as well. Because we want to be able to capture the culture that Austin has, which has attracted everybody. Because I heard a rumor, and you're from San Diego, you're from California. Is this turning into the next Silicon Valley?
There is the ongoing sort of back rumor that this is called the new Silicon Hills, because we've had so many companies relocate from Silicon Valley to Austin. So, I mean, it's sort of already happening. If it really isn't officially been called that yet, it definitely is gaining traction. I mean, we have Facebook, Tesla, Oracle, all of them have been.
Apple.
Apple just opened up their billion-dollar campus, and they're planning on expanding it to more. Their goal is to be the largest employer in all of Austin. So I mean, they're just growing leaps and bounds. I mean, you still have Dell here. Obviously, they were a big company that was here, sort of put Austin on the map for the tech world.
Samsung,
they got their giant factory that they're building out in Taylor.
Yep, and they have one right by where I'm at, because I'm out in Manor. You're out here in Cedar Park. So yeah, they have the one out that's near Manor, and it's like I drive past it almost every day, and I'm like, holy moly, like this is like massive. So it's just crazy how much it's grown in the last 10 years. Downtown doesn't look anything how it looked when I first moved here. And yeah, it's like I go there and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a building here that wasn't here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I used to work in Central Austin on Lamar. It's crazy when I go down that street. I'm like, what in the world just happened here? And in Koenig Lane, I used to work at a Ford dealership there. And I see new apartment complexes all the time. Like,
look at Rainy Street. Rainy Street was like all these old homes converted to restaurants and bars. Now they're all literally being converted into high-rise luxury condos with still like a bar and stuff down below. But I mean, that whole street was like pretty nostalgic, at least for when I first moved here. Like, oh, this is cool. Had a container store that was a bar that was a full, just made out of containers.
Yeah, container bar.
Yeah, now it's gone.
Crazy.
It's all turning into these luxury high-rise condo entertainment places, which I mean, don't get me wrong, downtown needs it. There's not a ton of livable space downtown compared to other downtowns, but overall, I'm sort of missing the old school Rainy Street a little bit personally.
I mean, I was never one to really, really go downtown and hang out, but I'm more of a homebody in that sense, but I do agree with you. But like culturally, it's moved out to where like I prefer to hang out like in downtown Round Rock and downtown Georgetown. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or even like in like the Cedar Park, Leander area. Like I like the Good Lot because it has like some cool vibes and whatnot. I know one of the assistant managers there as well. And so like I like those types of vibes, but I do see what you're saying. I recently went down there for a marathon and I was like, what just happened here? Yeah. Like, this is crazy. And I saw what the development was in Rainy, and it's all condos and speakeasies at the bottom. And, you know, it's a bittersweet moment. Great that we're developing and we're growing, but it's also, I want to get the opinion of locals of like, hey, how do you feel? Because each town has a culture. And it's kind of like, that's a little bit of an invasion of the culture. And, you know, it's like I joke around, 2 kidneys are better than 1. And I get that we're 2 transplants, right? But as like we said, we are transplants into Austin.
Yeah.
So Austinites are a rare breed.
Yeah.
You don't know how difficult it's been to just make a list of Austinites. Like I had to post on Facebook. I got more people than you did, But again, I've been here longer.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why. But it's crazy, like how it's like a rare breed. Like at this point, y'all need to be in a zoo at an exhibit because it's like, oh my gosh, you're an Austinite. It's like mind blowing.
well, that's like that's how it was for me. Like growing up in San Diego, not many people were actually from San Diego. It's a very transplant city, and that's what you're seeing here now in Austin. This is hard to find people that are born, raised, and grew up in this area, because frankly, the people that did are like, oh wow, this isn't the same place that I grew up. Or I'm going to move out further out into the country and things like that, and that's what they're looking for. But you still obviously have a few rocks here that you can uncover to find a few Austinites, and definitely they give you the history, which is amazing here. And just yeah, but this is a town of new people.
Yeah, new people, new growth, and new everything. It's like it's crazy. The only thing that's not new is the darn construction on these darn roads. It's been the same for years. I made a TikTok calling out JP, who's a realtor that we hope to have here, because he's quite funny. I like his personality.
He's a good guy too.
He's a good guy, and he has a dad's group.
Yep.
So that's pretty funny. I'm probably just gonna sit in the background on this one because I can't really, opinionate. I've been wanting to be in the dad's group, JP. You won't let me, but it's all good. But yeah, no, it's crazy how it's just like everything's developing, but it's taking a lot for the infrastructure to develop, is what I'm noticing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's more people coming here than I would say than the roads can handle. But I
Yeah.
mean, but I think that was also from my understanding, the community's plan. They didn't want this town to blow up to be a big, massive city that it's turning into. So they purposely, from my understanding, don't quote me on this, but we're delaying building out areas and infrastructure to handle more people because they didn't want it. And like, which I sort of get. I mean, it's got its own culture, the whole Austin, keep Austin weird. I'm like, I don't even see or hear that anymore. And that was a big saying 4.5, 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And you honestly don't hear it anymore because I'm frank, it's not weird anymore. Like it's lost a little bit of its culture, but it's evolving into a new high tech.
Yeah, it's like a subculture is coming
Yeah.
out from it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree because I used to hear "come and take it," and now I barely hear that saying.
Yeah.
Keep Austin weird. I don't hear anymore at all. I mean,
No.
I still see people going to the bridge and checking out the bats. Like that's super cool to still
Yeah.
see. But yeah, no, so like there's a subculture developing, and I want to get the opinions of like Austinites or people that have been here X amount of years on how they feel about it, and how they've seen it, and do they think it's a positive impact, a negative impact, and all that stuff. Do they like the growth? Do they dislike it? Like I had mentioned. So it's kind of interesting how everything's kind of evolved. I mean, you've been here 5 years, right? I've been here 10. So it's kind of crazy. Just
Yeah.
us alone, we're seeing things that are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like everything 360 is completely developed in a different way. It's still keeping its little hill country kind of like atmosphere. Gosh, Cedar Park, Leander, and Liberty Hill. That's just crazy.
Yes.
Manor is now catching up to that. Elgin is catching up to that. Bastrop is actually, I went to Bastrop recently and for a realtor partner, and dude, super developed.
Yeah.
Like they have the super HEB that has an electronics section. Like I was like, what? I don't even got that in certain parts of Austin. So that's
Yeah.
crazy. And then I had to go to Burnett. Actually 2 days ago, I posted about that, and you were like, what? And I have a realtor that just acquired for a listing of 80 acres in Burnett. And I was over there, and there's like nothing out there. But on my way there, Highway 183 to Highway 29, I'm like, there's a Starbucks in Liberty Hill.
Oh yeah.
So I guess USDA don't count anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just these out sort of what were considered 5, 10 years ago outskirts of Austin are now on huge growth plans. I mean, there's master communities going in left over right. The new builds and are just eating up all the
Yeah.
they're just taking over that area. We're just having a hard time also having the infrastructure, the retail commercial space catch up to it. To where, I mean, there's just opportunities for companies, restaurants, and things like that to really come in and create a staple in these areas. That because I mean, as a person that lived up in Liberty Hill for a year, there just wasn't enough food and just mostly just food, to be honest. Out that way to really like give you a great variety. So, and that was like the biggest talk about in the community was having access to a bigger variety. So the food trucks do really well out there because they'll bring them into the communities and things like that. But yeah, just a lot of that growth is just opportunity for so many people to thrive out here.
Yeah, one of my realtor friends called me like, "Hey, we have a double Dave's now in Liberty Hill, so
Okay.
don't talk crap about Liberty Hill when you're up in Maine." I was like, "Listen, we have a Walmart and we also have a Starbucks. You guys just got a McDonald's. We've had one, okay, and we have a Taco Bell and a double Dave's." And many nail salons. Gosh, a bunch of nail salons. I'm going to bring one of my nail salon techs in here because she does an amazing job. But it is crazy when you think about it, that development in that area. I have a ton of title listings over there. So a lot of my agents, that's where they have their listings at. So that's where we have their titles orders at, and I have to go all the time. And you hear me be like, dude, I'm on 183 right now. What up? Like I'm on my way to like Orchard Ridge, or like I gotta go to Santa Rita Ranch, or whatever it is that I gotta do over here. And you're like, might as well move. And I'm like, nah. No, I like Manor is getting there. I think the school district is the only thing that needs to catch up and develop a little bit more.
That's the biggest. A lot of
Same
these
thing.
schools are just
Oh,
getting overcrowded because there's so much growth out here. That's what we
exactly.
noticed with when we were up in Liberty Hill. Just the builders are building faster than the schools can be built.
Mhm.
So you're just seeing a overgrowth of or overpopulation of people being forced into large classrooms uh, full of students. So that was part of the reason why we moved back into Cedar Park, is because it's a little bit more already built out and doesn't have that opportunity for excessive growth, and the classroom sizes are a little bit smaller, and my kids are having fun and really enjoying school again.
Yeah, I looked at like an educational analysis. I'm really big on doing those things as well, just to know what areas are good for education, and what's the ratings and things like that. And Liberty Hill's getting there. Leander ISD actually is
Oh,
pretty up there. Like I was surprised.
Leander and
It's
Round Rock
competing with
are,
Travis.
and
Sorry,
Round
it's
Rock.
it's competing with Lake Travis. Sorry,
Yeah.
let me correct myself. It's competing with Lake Travis. So Leander ISD and Round Rock ISD are getting up there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Liberty Hill, it just takes another five years to get up
Oh
there.
yeah. They've always had a good reputation. They just had so much growth. I think they're just going through some growing pains right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think overall, Austin's been known for a decent, solid, like education programs. I know Liberty or Leander and Round Rock have always had great reputations, and that's a lot of why you're seeing families move into these areas, because the schools are well, uh, well ranked, and
Yeah, they're well established.
yeah,
They're like a well-oiled machine at that
yeah,
point. You have the charter schools, and then you have the actual traditional public schools versus, you have, I think Liberty Hill, and then they have a private school, right?
I'm sure they have a few of them out
They have a
there.
few. They have a few out there. I think the one that I'm thinking on is probably like Ronald Reagan and something like that. But I know they're developing pretty as quick as they can, but that still doesn't count towards the public school district.
Yeah,
So
they just can't get enough teachers.
they just can't get
That's
enough to move out there, which is why I can see why the private sector is where a lot of those parents end up going.
yeah.
And I don't blame them. I'm a private school student, so yeah.
We've explored all options at
We've
this point.
explored all
My son was in
options.
private preschool or kindergarten during COVID because we didn't know if it was going to be school's going to be open, closed, or what. So we put him into that. He was super successful, like just because it was a small class. And then he went to a class that went from 3 people to almost 30 kids in first grade, and that was like a little bit of a shock for him. And just the teachers, I think, are just overwhelmed by having that many numbers. So people are exploring different options. I mean, a lot of the students that that went to that school went to private school afterwards, and we've been exploring that. We just decided to go back to Cedar Park. We're in some really good school and our kids are thriving. They love it. They do extracurricular school activities, and they're like almost annoyed that we have to pick them up at times, which is great. It's like I love seeing my kids excited to go to school, because I mean, let's be honest, school's a lot of work as you get older. Our kids are little. Mine are 6 and 8, so they still love going to school. It's fun.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, my kid's in daycare. So my son's in daycare, and I have him in in a traditional daycare, but that kind of steps them and gets them ready for pre-K and kindergarten and all that stuff. So I have a little bit more time. And when I say a little bit more time, I say, okay, I have 2 years to kind of figure out what I'm going to, how I'm going to move about and all that stuff. But it's not really much time because time goes by so quick. Like the days are long, but the years are short is the saying that I keep on hearing. And when it comes with kids, that's what I'm noticing, especially now. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a mom of a 2-year-old. So it mind blows me in that aspect that now I have to consider what school districts I'm going to be in and what areas I'm going to be in for his developmental needs and all that stuff. And for him to just excel and give him the best opportunity possible. Back at home in Puerto Rico, it's not like that. Back at home in Puerto Rico, for you to get an education, a really good one, you have to be in private school.
Oh, wow.
For you to talk like this without an accent, you are paying at least $2,500 a month in education. And I kid you not, it's that expensive. My parents sacrificed every penny for the three of us to be able to, excel in that regard. So because the public school system is pretty it's not so great in Puerto Rico, unfortunately. It will develop, and I know we'll get there at one point, but just not right now. So it's crazy when I come here and I've talked to people that have had their education here in Texas for the majority of the part, the things that they don't know or the things that they do know. And I ask, well, what school district are you in? And that's how I get a feel of like, okay, I'm going to know what school district to put my kid in just on how smart you present yourself right now that's how I go about it. So it's kind of funny how I kind of like made that internal analysis, but I agree with you because like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about everything today.
Yeah.
We covered
a lot of topics that I wasn't even ready for.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. It's fine. It's fine. I'm good at rolling with the punches. It's like Travis Smith had posted something about like, oh, getting ready to wake up and it's a guy smoking a cigarette and then life getting ready to kick you. Yeah. I wake up with the mentality is I'm going to kick life first and harder. So that's my mentality that I've woken up with, at least in the last few weeks, which is a big shift in mindset and whatnot. But I'm also going to bring my business coach / life coach in here as well. I think he's phenomenal. And so he's going to also give us an aspect on that. And like I said, we're going to bring him.
He's got an amazing story.
Yes, he does have an amazing story. I'll give you who he is, Chastin Mata. Phenomenal. Oh. Just amazing. I've been working with him just now for over probably 2 weeks going on 3. And just this short period of time, I've already felt like a huge impact in just everything, how I conduct myself, how I carry myself and all that. So it's going to be great to bring him on. And he does have an incredible story. Our first guest is actually going to be Alan Glinski. He is a Austinite and he does a lot of land. He does a lot of land wholesale flips and things like that. But he's going to give us more of an aspect, a personal aspect. Again, we don't want to bring people in here in the market to talk market. Right. We want their personal opinions and experiences. So bringing him in, and he's pretty big on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, I think last time, let me make sure. Let me check.
He's got a great personality and just a fun excitement that we hope he brings to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have him on board. I'm going to make sure that, let me see if I can find him. Great. Next thing you're going to be is like, Nicole, you didn't find him?
You got unfriended?
Did I get unfriended? Did I get unfollowed? Well, no, it's funny is that I got a lot of followers yesterday. I'm like, why did I get a bunch of followers? And it was because I was talking about the US currency and stuff like that. I was like, oh, people actually want to hear this? Like, really? That's cool.
Most people don't know what's going on.
What is that saying? Stay woke? Something like that. I'm not really associating myself with being woke or anything. I'm surviving. Okay. Stay survived. Survivor. I feel like that's what I'm on, is on an episode of Survivor. So he has 13.0 followers. So almost probably a little bit higher, but 13.k. Yeah. So that's pretty solid. Pretty solid. And where he's over here talking about Texas land and all that stuff and the Texas culture. So it's going to be cool having him as our first guest.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. We're just excited to bring you this whole podcast. I mean, the whole Austin, California is just sort of a play on how everything is going in this town. Everybody that seems to be moving here is from California, or at least an ongoing joke, even though the statistics show it's actually most people within the state of Texas still moving to Austin. But with that all said, we're really excited to bring you this podcast. This is our first just go for it mentality on this, and we're just going to hopefully each one's going to get better and better and better, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So bear with us here, okay? Okay, this is the pilot,
Yes.
episode pilot.
That's mode
Yes.
1-P.
I was like, yeah, 1-P. That's a good one. So yeah, no, like I had mentioned, my name is Nicole Feliciano with Breweries Settlement Group of Texas.
And I'm Jason Herbert, your modern originator over here at CMG Home Loans.
Chon, chon, chon.
Have a great day, everybody.